Hey guys, Jay here. Welcome to Eons of Battle, and Games Workshop really hit us with a curveball this holiday season because a few weeks after they showed off all of the yearly Christmas Battle Forces, they threw another 4 Christmas Battle Forces at us. I guess they're not really Christmas Battle Forces if they're coming out after Christmas, but yeah, they're all Space Marines. So this year we got 6 Space Marine Battle Forces, and now that I have all 6 to look at, I want to quickly go through them all and see which ones are awesome and which 2 you should probably avoid. Looking at the ones that Games Workshop has already showed off, the Ravenstrike Battle Force, which has beautiful, beautiful cover art. All of these boxes are super gorgeous and super not representative of what comes in the box. I think the reason for that is they just grabbed artwork that they already had, and so they didn't custom have this artwork made for these battle forces. On the box art, we have a really, really cool infiltrator, but no infiltrators in this box. This box comes with Kayvon Shrike, a librarian in Phobos armor, 2 Invictor tactical war suits, a squad of Eliminators, and a squad of Ravers. And this box really is hampered by the inclusion of those Reavers. Reavers are terrible. They look kind of cool, but man, have they never managed to actually find their footing in the game of 40k. They have some sneaky movement shenanigans, but so do many other Space Marine troop units, so yeah, their inclusion in this box leaves a lot to be desired. And the 2 Invictor tactical war suits is kind of also very limiting because people who like the look of that model probably already bought one, and at least one, and they're probably not interested in getting 2 more and filling up their entire elite slot with these Invictor tactical war suits. And every single one of these boxes has a named character in it, and which kind of makes it kind of a bummer because one of the big savings that you're getting in this box is essentially getting those named characters for free. And so if you were like a Space Wolves player or an Ultramarines player looking at maybe adding some of these Phobos units to your army, you're not gonna have a really good use for Kayvon Shrike, because where some of the other named characters are really easy to kit bash and to customize into a captain of your own choice, Kayvon Shrike, the only thing you could really save is his torso, because you can't reuse that backpack, his lightning claws, or his weird clawed feet. So you really are stuck with using that model as it was originally made. So kind of a bad box in my opinion. Although the total retail cost of purchasing all of these things separately would come out to $322, which means that you're saving $112 from buying all of these things separately. So a decent savings, and if you are a Raven Guard player and you do want every single thing that comes in this box, it's a good deal. But if you are anybody else, probably one to avoid. Next up, the Imperial Fists Bastion Strike Force. Again, beautiful box art with some Blade Guard veterans that don't come in the box. This box is full of Tor Garadon, Primaris Aggressors, 3 squads of Primaris Heavy Intercessors, and the Primaris Imperial Fist upgrade and transfers. Ooh, interesting thing to mention with the Primaris Imperial Fist upgrade and transfers, all of these boxes come with their chapter's specific upgrade parts and transfers, except for the Raven Guard and 1 others. And a very sneaky thing about that from Games Workshop is if you look closely at the images available on the Games Workshop web store of these models, the Games Workshop Heavy Metal team used the transfer sheets. They used the Raven Guard transfers, but they don't come in the box. So I think that that's a little bit problematic, and if you purchase this box, I think it is very fair for you to write an email to Games Workshop saying that you were led to believe that the transfer sheet would be in the box, and Games Workshop customer service is pretty darn good, so they probably will send you that transfer sheet. But yeah, really lame that it doesn't include that, or the Primaris upgrade parts. I think probably the reason that they didn't include that is because the upgrade frame comes with intercessor shoulder pads, essentially normal Space Marine shoulder pads, but the Reavers technically wear a very slightly different shoulder pad, although the regular shoulder pads will fit and look lovely on Reavers. So I think that they certainly should have been included in the box, but they are not. But they do come in the Bastion Strike Force, so you have lots and lots of parts to deck out your Imperial Fist Space Marines. This box is, I feel like it's beloved and maligned because the Heavy Intercessors aren't a great unit in 9th edition, but I think that they're just so thematic and awesome. A lot of people still were like, yeah, but I do kind of want 3 squads of heavy intercessors in my army because it's just gonna look really, really badass. And having tons and tons and tons of high-powered bolt weapons is super thematic for the Imperial Fists. I really like this box, and even as a Black Templar player who loves close combat, I would be very tempted to add a bolt gun wing to my army. And Tor Garradon is a very, very easy model to kit bash and convert into the captain of your choice if you don't want to run them as Imperial Fists. Adding up the retail cost of all of these units from the Bastion Strike Force, it comes to $319, which means that this bundle gives you $109 of savings. Not actually as good as the Raven Guard box, but still a pretty decent savings. Moving on to the first of the new boxes with the Iron Hands March of Iron Strike Force, once again featuring box art with some beautiful, beautiful Iron Hands aggressors that don't actually come in the box, but they look really, really cool on that box art. This box comes with 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts, 1 squad of Intercessor Space Marines, a Primaris Tech Marine, and the Iron Father Pharaohs, and the Primaris Iron Hands upgrades and transfers. So this box is one of those where it's decent if you want every single one of these units that comes in the box, but if you don't, it's kinda lame. Also, I think it's kinda lame that it comes with Intercessor Space Marines. Intercessor Space Marines are just the normal Space Marines. They feel very boring and taking up half of the room in this box to just normal boring Space Marines. It's just not the most exciting. And also, pretty much everybody and their mom has a couple of Redemptor Dreadnoughts kicking around, so you probably don't want 2 more. The Tech Marine and the Iron Father Pharaohs are a very nice touch and very thematic for the Iron Hands, so it could be a good way to start an Iron Hands army, but other than that, this box is really, really not lighting a fire for me to want to go out and get it. If I add up all of the content of this box, it comes out to $307 retail with a savings of $97. So pretty much in line with what we're seeing, about $100 of savings with each box. And the Iron Father Pharaohs is a nice inclusion because if you just paint him red, he's very usable as a normal Primaris Tech Marine, and so that would be adding 2 Tech Marines to your army instead of just 1. So not a bad box for any Space Marine player. Moving right along to the Salamanders Warforged Strike Force. Finally, we actually have some cover art that is representative of the box with the Primaris Aggressors on the cover and Primaris Aggressors existing in the box. This box comes with 2 Intercessor Space Marine squads, a squad of Primaris Eradicators, a squad of Primaris Aggressors, Adrax Agatone, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful Space Marine models that exists, and the Primaris Salamanders upgrades and transfers. This box is, I think, a really, really decent box. Very decent for Salamanders players, and a decent box for people wanting to start a Space Marine army because it comes with 2 squads of Intercessor Space Marines. I called them boring because they are, but this box comes with all stuff that you will use in a Space Marine army. Unfortunately, Adrax Agatone is going to be pretty hard to kit bash into a non-Salamanders captain. But fire is a really cool motif, so if you want to come up with your own custom chapter that uses fire as part of its symbols and decoration, it could make for a really cool custom chapter. And the Eradicators and Primaris Aggressors are both excellent units. And if you are a Salamanders player, getting access to all of those upgrade pieces and transfers is going to be lovely and a huge boon to the quality of your army. If I add up the total of all of these kits, it comes out to $299 retail with a savings of $89. A tiny bit lower than some of the other boxes, but I think that it is overall a very decent box. Nothing in this is a bad get. Next up, we have a very interesting box in the White Scars Storm of Chikoris. And the box art is so lovely and beautiful because it features storm speeders or land speeders and drop pods. Games Workshop, just let Primaris use the old transports. I would love to drop pod my Primaris into battle, but currently I am not allowed because Games Workshop hates me. This box is very interesting because it does not include any foot slogging Space Marines except for the Khan himself. We've got 2 squads of Primaris Outriders, 2 Primaris Invader ATVs, a Primaris Chaplain on bike, and the Primaris White Scars upgrade in transfers. Very, very interesting box. I could see this box being very, very popular with people who don't collect White Scars because with one purchase, you get an entire new fast attack fleet to add to your Space Marine collection. One thing that is a little bit tricky about this box is it comes with those upgrades and transfers, but it's gonna be really, really hard to use them because the Primaris ATV and the bikes are all monopose models, with the shoulder pads sculpted into the arms of these models. So I've done it before. You can grind down the existing shoulder and then apply a shoulder pad of your own, but it is a lot of work and a lot of finagling. Or you could replace the arms with regular intercessor arms, but it might be a little bit hard to find arms that match the hands that are already holding the handlebars of the bikes. So even though it's very nice to get those transfers, the extra upgrade frames are gonna be kind of tricky to actually use. And for some reason, I know that White Scars have chaplains, but for some reason, the chaplain on bike really, really does not look like he belongs alongside these White Scars, but a very, very beautiful kit from Games Workshop and a very, very nice unit to use in 40K. And Kar Sarokhan is a lovely, lovely Space Marine captain, and probably a captain that would be decently easy to kit bash or convert into the captain of your choice. If I add up the cost of all of these kits separately, it comes out to $329 retail, which means that this box is $119 of savings, which is the best we have seen out of any of these Battle Forces. It is very good and it is very tempting. If I didn't already own 6 bikes, and the chaplain on bike, I think I would be very tempted to pick up this box. And if you're a White Scars player, White Scars don't often get a lot of stuff, so it is interesting to see them in this box. And coming up to the final battle box, the Space Marines Scions of Macragge. Just using the Codex cover art that we all know and some of us love and some of us thinks looks kind of boring. And it is actually representative of what comes in the box. This box is interesting. And by interesting, I mean bad. But it's fine. So this box comes with Marneus Calgar with his Victrix Honor Guard, Chief Librarian Tigerius, Primaris Blade Guard veterans, Primaris Intercessors, and Primaris Hellblasters. You get a lot of plastic in this box, and it is all very usable stuff. Really only if you play Ultramarines, because other people are not going to be able to use Marneus Calgar or Librarian Tigerius, but overall, this box is fine. What I don't like about this box is 2 things. Number 1, it does not come with the Ultramarines upgrades and transfers. I do believe that it comes with the standard transfer sheet that comes with all Space Marine kits, which are Ultramarines transfers, but it would have been a lot better and more fun if it came with those upgrades and transfers. They're very fun to use. You get to add your own personal touch to your own miniatures and get a little bit of extra Ultramarines goodness, or whatever chapter you're using, goodness out of your models. And looking at the prices added up of all of these things, there was plenty of room in the budget and probably in the box to include those things. So I find it very disappointing that they didn't include those. Adding up the total cost of all of these units comes out to $277 retail for a savings of $67. Really, you're getting Marneus Calgar for free. And that's not good enough? I don't know, I find this box very, very underwhelming. Although I really do like the Hellblasters, and they do feel very thematic to the Ultramarines. And the Blade Guard veterans are excellent. Overall, having the savings be pretty bad with this box, and not getting those transfers and upgrade frames, when this is a box for the Ultramarines with the Ultramarines independent characters, it just, I don't know. For me, this one and the Raven Guard Strike Force are both really lame. And unfortunately, unlike the Raven Guard Strike Force, where they did include the decals in the photos, with this one, you're not going to be as lucky with complaining to Games Workshop to get those extra bits because they are not represented anywhere in this photograph. All I see is the normal Space Marine upgrades, or the normal Space Marine transfers that you get in the box of any Space Marine models. So overall, it's a fine box, but it is definitely not Jimmy and my jams. It is not Flimmin' my flams. It is very interesting that Games Workshop put out 6 Space Marines. I guarantee that this is the last of the Battle Forces we'll see. They might do something for Age of Sigmar, although I really doubt it. With these 6 boxes, there's only 3 more Space Marine chapters of the first founding who don't have Battle Forces, and I wouldn't expect them to get Battle Forces because they already have combat patrols from Games Workshop. So I'm sure we have seen the last of the Space Marine combat patrols for this year, and it'll be interesting to see if they do anything like this in the future for next year. Are we going to get every single Space Marine chapter as Battle Forces every single year, or is this just something special that Games Workshop is trying for this year? I would bet it's a this year thing and we're not gonna see them again, or possibly we'll see them reprinted every year, although, maybe reprint some of the good ones and then make a new Ultramarines and Raven Guard Battle Force, because these ones are a little bit on the lame side. But if you find any of these boxes interesting, please consider shopping from Valhalla Hobbies. You can follow the link in the description below to check out their game store. And if you like this video and you like us, the best way to support us is over on Patreon. Over there, we have new terrain packs available monthly. This month, we have the Dark Manufactorum, an evil factory that's super modular with over 75 components. We also have a welcome pack that includes Dawn of War-inspired Space Marine, Imperial Guard, and Eldar terrain, all hosted by Comics, Games, and Things. We also make weekly exclusive videos where we take a look at our viewers' miniatures and give them some critiques and ideas of how to improve their painting, host live Discord hangouts, and have PDF painting guides. And a new tier where you can get your name on one of my Black Templar Space Marines and you can join the Legion. These boxes from Games Workshop were very interesting. The only one that I'm really interested in is the Bastion Strike Force, but I definitely am not going to buy it because I have far too many models as it is. Thanks for watching.